These are a great attraction here at the Brisbane Museum Down Under. How would you like to take one of these monsters for a walk? Perhaps not, but you can come for a walk with me around the fascinating world of some of the greatest land-dwelling creatures that have ever lived, dinosaurs.
They fill the theme parks, they jump and roar and sometimes frighten little children. The book of Genesis states all land animals, which would have to include the dinosaurs, were made the same day God created man and woman. Today we still find these monsters as fascinating as Adam and Eve must have in the Garden of Eden, but things were different then.
The Bible tells us the Garden of Eden was not a place where creatures tore each other apart. There was no death or destruction. That came only after man disobeyed God and evil came into the world. At first, the dinosaurs were gentle vegetable eaters, because God told Adam that all the creatures would eat plants.
Dinosaurs with sharp teeth used them only to rip tough vegetation. And because God gave man authority to rule all creatures, the first man could have ordered a huge apatosaurus to wiggle its neck. Today, sadly, the great dinosaurs seem to be extinct. We know them only from fossil bones found in rocks, but it is fun to see their skulls put back together and visit museums to study dinosaur skeletons. But it wasn't scientists from museums who found the first dinosaur bones. It was a young lady wandering these same streets I walked on a film project in the village of Cookville, just south of London, England in 1822. Her name was Mrs. Mary Mantell. Nearby was an old quarry. Its rocks were used for road making. From one rock, Mrs. Mantell picked up a fossil tooth. Her husband, Dr. Mantell, knew it was from a lizard, but a bigger lizard than any he had ever seen. It was named Iguanodon. In 1824, bones from another monster had been officially reported by a very interesting professor.
In the early days, it was considered a little strange to believe in these monsters, but that's understandable. Some of the men involved were a little odd. Take, for example, Professor William Buckland. He was the man that invented the word megalosaur for a giant fossil that had just been discovered. He ate dinner every day with his pet bear, and both of them had made a lifelong commitment to eating their way through the animal kingdom from A right through to Z. Anteaters right down to zebras they were aiming for. I believe they really enjoyed boa constrictors but had problems with the jellyfish. But if you mums and dads are looking for someone to blame for all those dollars spent on dinosaur toys, then you'd better pick a man from this museum.
Sir Richard Owen was the founding director of the British Museum. He was the leading geologist of his day and the world's expert on bones. He realised the skeletons found by Mantell and Buckland were from unique giants. So in 1841, Owen invented a new word, dinosaur, which meant great and fearful creeping creature. Around 1854, Richard Owen and his friends made this imposing display of dinosaur models. People still love to see them in this park south of London. Since no one in Owen's day had seen a living dinosaur, it was hard to join fossil bones in exactly the right way. One bone which puzzled Owen looked like a tiny rhinoceros horn, so he put it on the nose of Iguanodon. Complete skeletons later discovered showed the bone was simply a thumb claw, probably used by the Iguanodon for digging up roots to eat. Sir Richard Owen knew as he created his models that dinosaurs showed the results of God's brilliant design. Their spikes and frills were not originally for protection from fierce animals. Eden didn't have any savage killers. Triceratops used his horns to push over small palm trees and his sharp beak to tear tough fronds, so he could chew them with his flat teeth. His spiky frills were not for protection from attack, but seem to have been used for pumping blood across to raise and lower the temperature of the body. See the large grooves for blood vessels preserved on the bone? Crocodiles use armour plates for a similar reason. These living cousins of dinosaurs are usually too big for anything to attack, so their thick plating is not for protection. Blood runs through channels in the plates on their backs. When it's hot, they let heat out. If it's cold, the plates absorb heat to warm their blood. Solar heating, invented by God long before 20th century scientists even thought about it. When we consider such design, it's not hard to see why Richard Owen was convinced dinosaurs were the monsters God made. This belief made him the chief enemy of another Englishman, Charles Darwin. Darwin invented a theory called evolution, which claimed dinosaurs and all creatures got here by